a good friend of mine who's been a mentor my whole life, who's a commercial developer, I know him at Future Firm, and he says, JJ, I'm gonna go open this title thing. My son's gonna be the attorney, legalizing the fee office.
Mm-hmm.
You need to come in as a partner and be the marketing guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got in there with no experience. I just knew I had to go get realtors and lenders
Mm-hmm.
to send me their title work.
Okay.
And we made the lion's share of that title premium.
Yeah.
And that's how I met Melissa Munch, who's my ex-wife.
Your
and
ex-wife.
good friend.
And Melissa, she's been a top performer in mortgage for many years.
She's a machine.
She's a machine, right? Like in some ways, too much of a machine, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we were better off friends, but but we have a wonderful son together.
Yeah. Which Alex is
amazing.
He's an amazing kid, great golfer, great kid, very studious. He has a golf scholarship.
He's on the Westlake golf team. He's a senior. He's he signed with Oklahoma City University.
Nice.
And he met the coach at a golf camp a couple years ago, and they just really hit it off. And he stayed in touch with him. And he says, "Dad, that's where I want to go." And it's great. It's small classrooms.
Yep.
He's going to have maximum play time.
Yep.
It's not a D1 school. It's probably a D2 or D3.
Yep.
But it's a top D2 or D3
Okay.
school.
And are they known for golf?
They're very well known for golf. Yeah.
And is his team still ranked number 1 in the country? I don't know. Not living here in the country.
Westlake,
I don't know. Westlake.
Yeah, it's top 5. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he loves that. So so y'all raised him with her being a working woman in mortage.
Both of us.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's turned out to be a great kid from a split family.
And
How did y'all do that?
I was worried that was going to happen because when I was in the business, I was insecure as hell. I didn't really know what I was doing. I know I could bring the business in, but I really didn't understand the process. And and it's not that I didn't understand. I just chose not to really learn that. And I was more into myself, and Melissa was just crazy busy all the time. So I'm thinking, oh my God, we have a child together. How are we going to do this? What's he going to turn into? Of course, he's the most amazing kid ever.
Yep.
Is
he yours? I mean, maybe that's that could be.
Yeah. But at the time, you're like, oh my God, how this is just crazy.
Yeah.
So, but
And then you go from you did title. How did you transition from being part owner of the title company of the fee office to then going into mortgage?
Well, I had a ownership share, so to speak, kind of off the record, but I mean, I had to.
Should we just not talk about it?
No, it's okay. But I wanted. My understanding was it was a gray area to be a licensed professional and making money off mortgages and directing where your title work is going. And so I basically just bowed out of that whole deal.
Okay.
And Linda, who's like a mother to me, that was her baby. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go out and do some great things in mortgage.
Yeah.
I've made a nice little chunk of money in a couple of years I was with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to support you. Go do it. And rest is history.
And so then you get in the mortgage in 06, leading up into, we have the crisis of 08. So it was tough sledding for many of us during that time. But where was it that you felt like, at what time, that you felt like that you started to hit a groove as a mortgage lender?
When I started working with Ed Salter.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And when was that?
I started working with him in 2006.
Okay, so right out of the gate then.
Yeah.
And that was because your relationship with Melissa, you knew
She was a great doer. She wasn't a great teacher. And she said, hey, go work with Ed.
Yeah.
And they used to date.
Yeah.
But they dated, when she was 18, he was 33.
Okay.
So I'm not a jealous type person, so I didn't care. And I really hit it off with Ed, and he's one of my best friends as of today.
To this day, yeah.
And so, but he's a great mentor. He really, I still regard him as probably one of the greatest loan officers out there as far as just his consulting ability, the way he can structure loans and explain it to customers. I've learned a lot from that guy.
So if you would consider him one of the best, who else might you consider?
I think you're one of the
best. Oh,
best.
there you go. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I think my boss, Brian Ezel, is one of the best.
He is. He is. And, and we all deliver our message differently, right? So Ed's message, you learned a lot from him. And then same thing.
He really taught me how to connect with the customers.
Okay.
And really, I drew a strong distinction between transaction type business versus relationship business.
Okay.
And you can do both and be maybe successful in both, but the value to yourself personally comes from the relationship side.
Yeah. And
he really taught me. He would be behind. He said, Jimmy, when you're across from a customer, he would say, get up and walk around when you're trying to explain things and get down on a knee to the same level.
Okay.
He would do things like that.
But you would still be taller than them if you did that.
But that's kind of how he is.
Okay.
And Brian Pratt, he works in our office. He used to be Ed's office as well.
That's right, he did.
And I mean, it was a crack up every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he really is. I mean, he's one of a kind.
Okay.
I love the guy.
So you consider him not only a mortgage mentor, but a life mentor.
Lifetime mentor,
Yeah.
lifetime friend.
Absolutely. Okay. And he's such a neat guy, and the fact that he's still crushing it. He looks 38, and I don't know, was he low mid 60s?
It's all his hyperbaric chamber sessions he's doing.
He's the only guy I know that will take a loan app, in his hyperbaric, chamber. Yeah.
He calls me from the hyperbaric all the time.
Hopefully there aren't any like static electric yet.
Dude.
I love that. So, but then you end up. Did you transition from Fairway to First United?
Let me back up here. So, we were all brokers.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa was Monument Mortgage. Ed was Presidential. And I remember I was working with Ed, and he saw the writing on the wall that, hey, brokers, let's go the way of correspondent.
Yeah.
And Steve Jacobson from Fairway was in our office one day saying, hey, we're going to here, and I'm going to have a branch. And I was already divorced with Melissa already, and we decided we're good friends. Let's work together and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our own branch, and that was back in 2009.
Okay.
When Fairway was doing $5 billion a year.
Okay.
Versus 60 today.
So they're doing $60 billion.
Oh yeah, that's how much growth they've had.
Wow.
In 13, 14 years.
Okay. So he's basically a founding father here in town of Fairway. Okay. And he'll probably go to the grave with them. I mean, I know he's up on probably retiring here in a few years, but and I might imagine that there are probably some opportunities that we can talk a little bit about today that could be really juicy about,
sure.
What does a loan officer do with their book of business when it's time for them to shut it down?
Kind of a sunset deal.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
And so when was it that you started with First United?
In March of 2019.
Okay, so you've been with them for over 3 years, 3.5 years.
Before that, I was with Fairway, and I bounced around because I love Ed to death, but sometimes we can't work together.
Yeah,
So I went over and worked with AJ Miller, who was also with Fairway. I brought him to Fairway.
Okay,
but we were at Supreme Lending for a while with John McClellan.
Yep.
And we were at Security National. Actually, Security National first, then Supreme Lending. And then it was not working out there for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, let's look at Fairway.
Yeah.
He had never thought about it. And to this day, it's like the best move he's ever made.
Okay.
And so I worked with him up until, it was like early spring or January, February of 2019. Yeah. And the reason I left is I wanted to be at a bank where I could do one-time close construction.
Okay.
Portfolio.
And you couldn't do that at Fairway.
And I was getting so many referrals that I was sending to people like you or Blair, all the guys we all know.
Yep.
And I was like, I need to be in a place where I can do that business. And really, I went to First United by accident because Ryan James was leaving UFCU, and he goes, Jim, I'm leaving. I just talked to Brian Pratt. He's over there. Said it's really good. Go check it out.
Yeah.
And he calls me, hey, Jim, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll check it out too.
And
that's literally how it happened.
And maybe there's no secret to the fact that that was kind of during the time when a lot of people chose to go with that group over there. And I give Azell a lot of credit for building the team that he has.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's the greatest boss I've ever had by far.
He's a great cook on top of that too.
And he's got me hooked on French wine.
I've got a story about his wine at one of his Christmas parties one year.
Okay.
Yeah. We're all over there for a Christmas party, and he's got this incredible wine room and where they have this amazing dinners and everything.
Yep.
He's showing us like, here's my, here's this Bordeaux and here's this, and here's my high dollar stuff. And he's got keys, he's like a janitor has his keys and stuff. Right. And I go, and I was his top producer at the time. And I go, man, I sure would like to have a great bottle of wine. He goes, fantastic. He goes, I've got you one. So he takes me all the way down to the other end of the wine room.
So if you're facing it, the right side is all the expensive stuff. So I always joke, hey, is this from the right side or the left side? The left side is still good.
I think he went left middle for me. Yeah. Then it was left out.
No, but he's done a phenomenal job. He's built a hell of a team over there. We've got David Medrano, we've got Sean Condon. They got me.
Who else? It's a great group, and for our audience that isn't necessarily familiar with First United, they're a Texas, well, actually an Oklahoma bank that has a huge presence in
Based
Texas.
Out of Durant. That's right. Greg Massey. Massey family.
And they've done fantastic jobs of growing not only the bank but also on the mortgage side. And when they brought Brian over, it just seemed like a windfall of top producers that y'all were able to get over there, and y'all are closing consistently north of $1 billion.
Just our group alone.
Just your group alone. That's amazing. And Sean, number one producer in Austin, David number two, and just the fact that the two of them were at the same outfit speaks volumes.
Yeah, and they're the greatest guys. I mean, what's fun is I actually office outside of Sean's office. I could be deemed his assistant, but I do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Brian's next to him, so I like to hang out with the guys all day.
Uh-huh.
I have my own office too, but I chose to be close to them because, frankly, I hear stuff Sean's talking about, and I learn things all day long hearing guys that are doing far more than I am.
So you're almost kind of like a fly on the wall, and you enjoy being in that environment, not only from the camaraderie part of it, but also just learning the ropes on how they would.
Yeah. I mean, my expertise in this business has exponentially grown since joining over there.
Okay.
And it has a lot to do with I got, Brian, assigned me Melissa Platt, who's my right hand, and she's become the most phenomenal person in my business life.
She's your loan coordinator. Yeah.
Right. And that has transformed, I'll tell anybody anything, once you learn how to really know the process and now you start bringing in tons of business, you've got to have the resources around you that are going to take care of.
You have to have the team, no doubt.
And so, that's where things really took off for me. Having the products, construction, portfolio kind of stuff, not mainstream that everybody else is doing.
Yep.
And have the right systems and the right assistant that can really help, bring it to closing, bring happy customers to closing.
So you have, and you guys do have those niche products. You have the construction one-time close, which is a fantastic product. You also have a physician product.
Physician program.
Yeah. And then y'all will do, I know some other scenarios where maybe it's a jumbo or a super jumbo, and y'all may go off of DU findings. And if DU findings come back and say only 1 year tax return for someone who's self-employed,
that's exactly right.
That's really a rarity.
That's one of the advantages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, just being able to have the leadership that you have, not only from Brian, but also from the other leadership with mortgage. I know you've got your team out of Dallas now at Durant, but
it's a great group.
And now you, after making that transition, you are getting referrals from other lenders. Right, that can't do those, in the eds of the world, that are doing, I don't want to say the cookie cutter deals, but the non-niche deals. Right,
I need to do a better job of actually getting out to all the lender friends I have that are in the correspondent world. They don't have access to physician loans or construction products or whatever. I need to do a much better job.
You really do need to do a much better job at that. Yeah, I mean, to your point.
Yeah. Really well at that.
That's really, you and I refer business back and forth, and people within our sphere, and because I like the idea of being the yes person, and so do you. We clearly do. But when you can't be the yes person, who in your sphere do you want to kick it over to? Somebody within, your inner circle that that the client can trust. Yeah. And I love taking that business in because you've already set the foundation for me, right? And you're saying that you're not doing that well enough. So what is it that, you have your realtors that you're getting a lot of business from.
But
you have your builders.
Taking the time to go meet other lenders, reconnect with other lenders that you used to either work with or compete against, and go see them and say, hey, I do these things. Maybe there's some things that you do, like bank statement loans or things like that we don't do. Yep. And try to form I'll send you something, you send me something, and
you just it's keeping them within your sphere, and then same thing like we talk about, for example, your crew over at First United. Whenever y'all have a deal that you can't do and you kick it over me, I'm not going to go after that relationship that you have with your realtor.
I mean, the way to look at it is if you refer it out, you're doing it for because you want to take care of the customer, number one, and you want it done correctly and with somebody you can trust that's going to not tarnish what you have with that customer. Yep. And so I look at you or anybody else, Blair, whoever I send stuff to, they're an extension of me. Yeah. And so, to carry on that relationship.
Fair trade. It's fair trade, exactly. Right? But you are, I think, one of the things that I see that I really admire from you, Jim, that you are fantastic at is your realtor relationships, right? And you do a fantastic job of engaging the listing agent whenever one of your borrowers goes under contract. Tell me a little bit about that, how you handle that.